Welcome to Elevated, a place where the mystical meets the everyday. I am Dawn, a stay-at-home mom to a wild and spirited boy, and a guide in the realms of Reiki, Akashic Records, natural healing, and soulful living. Here, we'll talk energy, intuition, spirituality, but also the realness of motherhood, wellness, and creating balance in the chaos of it all. So grab your tea, take a deep breath, and join me as we explore healing, alignment, and the beauty of both the magical and the messy. Welcome to Elevated. Welcome to Elevated. I just want to put out a trigger warning before we go any further. This episode of my podcast should not be listened to if little kids are around. We are going to be talking about the magic of Christmas and all of that. And I just don't want them to be a part of that. So if you could, please listen to this without any little kids around. Now we can get into the rest of the podcast. Welcome to Elevated. I am Dawn. I'm your host. How are you doing today? I hope that you are doing amazing. It's been a while since I've recorded. I did some pre-recordings before I went on holiday, so I didn't have to worry about it while I was away. And I know last week was just a meditation. I'm trying different things. I'm trying to see what resonates with the listeners. If you like just a meditation one day, or if you like where we do a little bit of learning and education and then a meditation at the end, or if we do learning and education and then a separate meditation for that week as well. So then it'd be like 2 podcasts that week. So just trying different things, trying to see what resonates with everybody and what feels right for me as well. Tuesday night, I went to Agribition with my son and my husband, and we went to the family rodeo and enjoyed that. Okay, you want to know what Agribition is. I don't know how to explain what Agribition is. I don't. It is one of those things like if you are in Saskatchewan, maybe even Western Canada, you know what Agribition is. And I asked my husband last night, I said, how would you explain to somebody that's never been to Agribition what it is? It is, I would say, almost a small Las Vegas venue-sized trade show, but with livestock. So there's shows with livestock. They're showing cattle. They're showing sheep. They're showing goats. I believe they're showing goats. They're showing horses, horsemanship, cattlemanship. There's a whole bunch of just trade show parts of it. So there's a whole bunch of booths are there with people selling stuff. Like I know one lady that's there that's selling her jewelry line that she makes. And then there's another guy that I know that's there that's selling his recreational vehicle, like snowmobiles, ATV, dirt bikes, products, because he doesn't sell the physical machines, but he sells all the wear that goes with it and all the parts that you would need for that kind of stuff. That's what he does. So he's there. There is a arena that's full for the kids to go and explore, like younger kids. So they got little chicks that are there and a petting zoo, and you can just learn about farm life all around. Any part of farming that you want to learn about is where you would go to Canadian Western Agribition, and it is world renowned. There are people from overseas that are coming to this. It is huge. It's been around ever since I was a kid, and I'm in my 40s. So it's probably been around longer than that. I've luckily got to go many a times, and it's the one thing when, it's the end of November, and you're like, Agribition week. The city is busy. The hotels are booked. The stores are busy because all the farmers are coming in and they're going shopping for Christmas. That is what Agribition is, in probably the easiest way of explaining it. I don't know. And then they do a rodeo, the Canadian Cowboys Association. And a lot of the guys in that rodeo are placing to go down to Vegas for the National Rodeo Finals. It is amazing. Like, so good, so much fun, so much entertainment. But we took our son to the family night just because A, it was cheaper, B, the time frame just worked a little bit better. It wasn't as long as the actual rodeo itself, and it worked with his play school schedule. So we took him. It was so much fun. They had trick riders there. They had a girl who was 15. She's sixth generation horsemanship. And she jumped a car with her horse. And then she brought out a Mustang. And she's not wearing a saddle and she's not using a bridle with these horses. That's how amazing her horsemanship is. So she brings out a Mustang that she's been working with. And I guess horses are really scared of fire. I didn't realize that. And she was walking her Mustang in between two fire poles. And the Mustang went through the first time but didn't want to go through the second time. And then she was going to jump 3 of her horses. She was on one horse and then she had 2 horses beside her horse. So she was in the middle and none of them had bridles and none of them had saddles on. And then she was going to take all 3 of them and jump over the car, but they didn't actually do that. But that's all right. She's still working and she respects the horses enough that she didn't push them. So that was amazing. Like, it was just so much fun. Then they did mutton busting. So if you don't know what that is, that's little kids get on sheep and then they hold on to the sheep as tight as they can. And then the sheep just go and run towards the other sheep. It's super cute. There's a lot of face plants that happen, that's for sure. But it's so cute to watch. And then they did a boot race. So they had, oh my gosh, I can't even tell you how many kids. They probably had 300 kids, I would say, down in the arena. They all took off their boots and then they had to go the other side of the arena and then they had to run back, find their boot, put it on or shoe, whatever it was, and then run back to their starting location. It was crazy to see all these kids. And really, there was only 2 boots that weren't correct. So that was amazing because I really thought that there would be a lot more chaos when it came to a whole bunch of kids trying to find their boots and shoes and stuff. But it was really, really good. It was a lot of fun. And then today we got up, me and my son, and he was so cute. My husband was just about to leave for work. And he goes to my husband and goes, Dad, we're putting the Christmas tree up today. And I'm like, we're decorating the Christmas tree, are we? The Christmas tree is nowhere near ready to get decorated. It's downstairs in the basement. My husband goes down and he hauls our Christmas tree up. And I refuse to haul the Christmas tree up because I already know if I scratch the wall, he's going to be mad at me. So I'm like, you do it. You scratch it. It's your house. No big deal. He built the house. He picked the paint on the house. Like, if he wrecks it, it's on him, right? So he hauled it upstairs. And then my son and I today, we decorated the Christmas tree, which was stressful. I'm not going to lie. I don't know what I think. Like, in my mind, I have this beautiful picture, that perfect picture of you got the Christmas carols playing and it's just so calm and joyful and such a wonderful experience. Meanwhile, we have the Christmas carols playing. They're overstimulating me. My son is not really comfortable when we change things in the house. So he's a little bit uncomfortable with the fact that we're putting up the Christmas tree, even though he wanted to put up the Christmas tree. I'm trying to stay calm. I have a lot of special ornaments that we're putting up that I don't obviously want him to touch. Like, they're breakable. He's 3, almost 4. He's not at the age where he can respect them enough, maybe without dropping them by accident, things like that. So I'm just like, okay, Mommy will do these ones. Mommy will do these ones. And he's pressuring me to put some on. And I'm like, buddy, we got to get some up there. And he wants to put them on, but he's putting them all on the same branch. And I was like, that's not how we decorate a Christmas tree. So I'm trying to explain to him how to do it. And it was not very enjoyable. Not like I had pictured in my mind, right? Like, in my mind, I had the Hallmark movie picture going on. I did not have that. I had real life happen. But that's fine. It looks beautiful. He did a really good job. He understood after a while what I was asking of him. And then I let him put some on that he wanted to put on. But I was having a problem this year because as I was putting on some of my ornaments, I'm like, I don't like them anymore. I did. At one point in time, they served my tree and they worked, but I've outgrown them, I guess you can say. And I just don't have in my mind a set idea of what I want my tree to look like or what type of decorations I want. So I'm sitting there putting these decorations on and I feel obligated to put them on because either someone bought them for me or I bought them and I liked them at one point and I don't have enough decorations anyways for my tree. Like, my whole back, I didn't really decorate. I didn't decorate the one side that you don't see. And then after a while, I'm like, I don't want a lot of decorations on the tree. And maybe that was it. I just didn't want a lot of decorations. Like, I don't know what it was. But it was really hard for me to enjoy decorating the tree. It looks good and I'm happy with it. I did get a new decoration this year from my mom when we were on holidays. We went to Banff National Park, and they have the Spirit of Christmas store there. And she got an ornament for me, which has my husband's name, my son's name, and my name on it, and then our last name on the bottom. Super cute. And it's like little bears with pine trees, just to remind us of our trip that we had with my mom and dad. And it's beautiful and I love it. And then she got one for my son with his two cousins' names on it as well, and his name in a smaller little version. And it's so cute. So those are on our tree this year. And I like those ones. What I really wanted to talk about today was Elf on the Shelf. Because when you are hearing this, it is going to be the beginning of December. And if you have a little kid, you understand. You get it. Either you're not doing Elf on the Shelf because you're like, that's ridiculous and it takes too much time and it's too much stress and I don't want to add more stress to December. I get you on that one. Or you have a little kid that's begging you for Elf on the Shelf because all of their friends have Elf on the Shelf and they want Elf on the Shelf. And you're again, I don't really want to, but my kid really wants me to. So you're tossed up, not sure what to do with that. Or you absolutely love Elf on the Shelf and you're all in with Elf on the Shelf. Elf on the Shelf is 20 years old, if you will, this year. My stepson is 26. I met him when he was 10. So Elf on the Shelf would have been like 4 years old, I guess, when we were kind of at that age where we could have done Elf on the Shelf. Now, we didn't do Elf on the Shelf. I did do Cy on the Shelf. Do you guys remember Duck Dynasty? Well, Uncle Cy had one. And I did that like 1 year, kind of, sort of. I mean, he was like 14. He didn't really care. It was just lame. And I just did it more for me. And my husband thought I was crazy, which is fine. I was kind of crazy because really what 14-year-old even cares? But anyways, did that and not every day. So when I had my son, I knew I was going to be that mom that wanted to do Elf on the Shelf. He was 10 months old and I started Elf on the Shelf. I'm pretty sure I started it when he was 10 months old. Maybe I waited till he was a year and 10 months. I don't know. Anyways, but what I do, and I did this last year and I did this year. So maybe this is only my third year doing it. But what I do is in September, I start going through the Pinterest boards, Facebook, the apps, all the things, TikTok, everything to research things to do for Elf on the Shelf. I screenshot it, I make note of it, whatever it might be. I have it all written down as to what I potentially am going to do for Elf on the Shelf. Then in October, I sat down and I came up with the dates that I needed to do it for. So from November 30th to December 24th, I have all the dates written down. And then I'm picking what I want to do for each one of those days and writing it down. So I have the date of the activity. I have what the sign is going to say, and then what props I'm going to need, and if there is a gift with that as well. That is what I do. And let me tell you, it is way easier to do Elf on the Shelf because one, you're not trying to think of something to do that day. Your mind doesn't have to be preoccupied with it because let's face it, as moms, or even if you are a stay-at-home dad, whoever is the default parent where all this kind of stuff falls on them, our brains are already overwhelmed enough with decision fatigue throughout the whole day. Like I know for me to have to make a decision, it is painful. And for me to have to try and think of something for 25 days to do would be unbearable. I wouldn't do it and I wouldn't enjoy it, right? And I want to make Christmas magical for my little guy. So I pre-plan. I am an organizer though. I like to organize. I like to have things like this figured out. And then that way I know what props I need. I know what day we're doing it. It helps me if I get busy. I can say, hey, Tim, can you go and can you do Elf on the Shelf? Here's the date. Here's the props. This is kind of like an idea. I have pictures on my phone saved. This is the idea of what we're going with. Can you do it? So I think what I'll do is I'll just run through my ideas for you and kind of give you that list. And if you want to use it, go for it. There was a lady that I know, her daughter all year has been talking about Elf on the Shelf. They don't do Elf on the Shelf. So she broke down and bought Elf on the Shelf this year. And she's like, wish me luck. So I messaged her and I said, hey, I created this. Do you want to borrow it? Like, I'm okay. Like, you can use it. It's your first year. Give you kind of an idea of how to make it less stressful because really, it does not need to be stressful. So we have November 30th. So that would be the night, right? So that December 1st, when my little guy wakes up, boom, we have Elf on the Shelf. Anyways, November 30th, we know Elf on the Shelf comes December 1st in our house. So November 30th, that night, we're going to do Do Not Worry, I Am Back. So I have a sign that says, Donut Worry, I'm Back. I have a Elf donut shop prop. And then we're going to have a donut for my little guy because he loves donuts. And I thought it would be really, really fun for him to wake up and have a donut. I'm going to regret it in the morning. I know I am, but I thought it'd be fun. The elf is going to bring an advent calendar for my son, for myself, and for my husband. Now, my son will have 2 advent calendars. I will have 2 advent calendars. And my husband literally just gets a box of 48 Ferrero Rochers because he loves them. And they were a lot cheaper to do it that way than to buy an advent calendar for him. And he can have 2 a day versus 1 a day, which he will be more happier with anyways. But for me, my advent calendar, my 2 of them is I got the Lind chocolate advent calendar because it's Christmas. I might as well have a chocolate. I probably won't eat it every single day, but whatever. And then I got myself a Christmas book advent calendar. It was all the rage this year. People were sharing about it, and I really want to start reading before going to bed. So I thought this would be a really good way of going about and getting into that habit. Then the elf, who we call Logan, got my son a John Deere ornament advent calendar. I don't know. They're really small little squares. I don't know how good they're going to be. It was off of Amazon. Sometimes I'm leery about buying things like that because I just don't know how good the quality of that is going to be. But anyways, that's what I have. And then my mom every year gets all the grandsons an advent calendar, and she's wrapped it up and she has it from grandma and grandpa. And I don't know what it is. Then December 1st, that night, we're going to do Grinch Pete. And I did this one because he has play school the next day and I thought it would be funny. The sign will say Grinch stopped by but forgot to flush the toilet. And then you just take green food coloring and you put it in the toilet bowl. And then we are going to have Grinch family pajamas left as well. Plus, I got the other day at the dollar store a Grinch tablecloth. And he has a little kid's table that him and I sit at and have breakfast all the time and lunch at. So I'm just going to put that on the table as well for him. Then on the 2nd of December, we're going to build an igloo. And the sign is going to say, built myself an igloo. And I'm going to use toilet paper rolls, cotton balls, and some little candle lights in there. And then the elf can be sitting around there type of thing. Then on December 3rd, we're going to do elf races with toy cars. So the sign is going to say ready, set, snow. And for props, I'm going to use race flags, obviously, his road magnet tiles that he has. And then he has a light magnet tile and he has little Hot Wheels that I'm going to put on there as well, looking like they're going to race around. For December 4th, we have the snowman melted. The sign's going to say, I wanted to bring a snowman from the North Pole, but he melted. And you're just going to have a bowl of water with eyes in there, carrots, a scarf, a hat, arms. So it looks literally like all the snowman parts are there and then they melted. What I did was I went to Amazon and they had little snowman making kits. And then on December 5th, we're going to do YouTube. So the sign is going to say, is this how you watch YouTube? And for the props, you have a toilet paper roll and you write in red a big letter U on it. Get it? It's like a U and a tube. That's funny. And then December 6th, we're going to do the Skittles rainbow. So I'm going to, on a plate, put Skittles in a circle. And then it's going to say, let's make a rainbow and add warm water. And then he can just pour warm water and then see the dye from the Skittles are going to be coming off with warm water. But I think he's going to like that one because it's kind of like a science experiment for him. On December 7th, we're going to do a snowball fight. And basically, I'm going to take mini marshmallows and big marshmallows. So with the big marshmallows, I'm going to make kind of like a wall. And then I'm going to have like little marshmallows kind of thrown everywhere and some of his toys. He has a ton of little people. And so I might bring up his little people and put them around as if they're having a snowball fight. Can maybe put some flour down or icing sugar or something like that. And then it'll look kind of like a snowball fight. On December 8th, we're going to do a lollipop garden. So the sign is going to say, I grew you some flowers. And you basically just plant lollipops into a planter. How simple is that? get some dirt, you put it in the planter, and then you literally just put some suckers in there. Pretty simple. December 9th, we're going to do Elf playing a Lego. And the sign is going to say, I heard you wanted a gingerbread house. And the reason why it's going to say that is because his gift is a Lego gingerbread house plus an actual real elf gingerbread house. I'm just going to have the elf with the gingerbread house Lego out, a bag open, and the instructions open, and kind of him starting to build the first part of the gingerbread Lego. Kind of could be really, really cute. And then we'll have as well just an actual gingerbread house that my son can build. It was a Elf on the Shelf one, so it's smaller and not as much candy and big size for him to do. And then on December 10th, we're going to have toilet into a reindeer. And the sign is going to say, run, run, Rudolph. So basically, I'm going to cut out antlers, ears, eyes, and a nose and just stick it on the toilet. He's going to think it's great and it's funny. He'll like it. Then we're going to have elf game night on the 11th. So again, his toys are going to come up. They're going to be playing a board game, and I'm going to have a new board game for him so that he can play a new board game. On the 12th of December, we're going to do elf movie night, and the sign's going to say, let's have a movie night. And the elf is going to be watching TV with a bowl of popcorn and a blanket, which he has one, and a couch from his little people. And then his gift is just going to be a popcorn and movie. So, and then on Amazon, I found little mini TVs for doll houses. So stinking cute. I'm just going to change the picture on there to like a Christmas movie and just tape it on there. So it'll look really, really cute. And then on the 13th, because they had a movie night, on the 13th, the elf is going to have a sleepover, and it's going to say, shh, we stayed up way too late. And I'm going to have either his stuffed animals or little people in some socks sleeping over. And then I'm going to give him a Berenstain Bears book, The Slumber Party. And then because the elf had a sleepover, so had movie night, now had a sleepover, the elf on the 14th is going to be sick. I think the sign for that one is going to say, I'm sick, or I'm under the weather, or something like that. And I'm just going to get a basket for the bed, which I'm going to put tissues around it and then a blanket on it, and then get my son's Vixen thermometer and have that out there so that he looks like he's super sick. It's maybe even put the elf in a house coat or something like that. And then take some Kleenex and cut the Kleenex into little elf-sized Kleenexes and bunch it up like he's been blowing his nose. Then on the 15th, we're going to do hot dogs. And the sign's going to say, heard you wanted hot dogs. And I'm going to go to his toy farm where he has like 1,000,000 dogs on there. And I'm going to wrap them up in bread. And then I'm going to have ketchup and mustard beside them. And then on the 16th, the elf is going to be working out. And I think I'm going to have a sign that says like 1, 2, 3, like how you're counting reps or something like that. And then I'm going to use little mini marshmallows in between toothpicks to make little weights for him. Like, how cute is that? So cute. Then on the 17th, we're going to do Grinch kebabs. And the reason why I'm doing this is because on the 18th, it's his last day of play school before the Christmas vacation. And I'm pretty sure that they're going to do like a party day. And I'm pretty sure that I'm going to be bringing a snack for them. So I'm going to do Grinch kebabs, and I'm going to have some laying out for my son to have in the morning. So on the 18th, we're going to do the elf in the fridge. And the sign's going to say, "Brr, it's cold in here." And I'm just going to wrap him up in a face cloth and just put him in the fridge so he's trying to stay warm. On the 19th, we're going to do coloring in a coloring book. The sign's going to say, let's color. I did get a Christmas coloring book, and I've already colored a picture, and then I'll have the pencil crayons laying around. So I tried to do not mom kind of coloring, but it's still nice coloring. On the 20th, we're going to do a ball pit. And the sign is just going to say ball pit. And basically all you do is you take pom-poms, you put them in the container, and you put the elf in the middle of it. On the 21st, we're going to do elf yourself. The sign is going to say elf yourself. I'm going to take dry erase marker to the mirror. I'm going to draw an elf hat and a shirt on the mirror. And then I'm going to leave room in between the hat and the shirt for my son to put his head in. And then he's going to, look like an elf, and we'll take his picture, and it'll be cute and funny. On December 22nd, we're going to draw a picture on the window, and then the props is literally just having the picture on the window and the elf holding one of the markers. I did get the Crayola window markers for that. I didn't want to use dry erase in case they didn't come off, and I really don't want to deal with my husband if it doesn't come off. So I'm already thinking he's gonna be like, "You're doing what to my windows? Are you kidding me?" Blah, blah. I can hear it. I can hear it already. But we will do it for my son because it is Elf on the Shelf. On the 23rd, I'm just gonna do a candy cane heart, and the sign is gonna say "I love you." And the candy cane is going to be made into a heart with basically the note that says "I love you." And then on the 24th, we're going to have the goodbye. So we're going to have a goodbye letter to tie. I should say on the 23rd because it's going to be the morning of the 24th. I feel like the elf should be bringing Santa's key and some reindeer food with him. I think that's what I'm going to be doing on that day so that it's there for the 24th for the night, and then we can leave the key out and we have the reindeer food because of course we're going to make our own cookies and stuff for Santa and maybe some chocolate milk. My aunt and uncle had some friends over, and they're from South Africa, and they said in South Africa what they do is they leave some booze for Santa as well. So my cousin then would put out milk, cookies, carrots for the reindeer, and then also put out some sort of booze for Santa as well. Just saying, I'm pretty sure that my aunt and uncle really enjoyed it because it would have been what they wanted. And hey, that's a great idea, you guys. A great idea. I will be perfectly fine with that chocolate milk though. And then the 24th, we're going to do our goodbye letter. So we're just going to have the elf say goodbye to Ty. And then I'm hoping this year, if I can, if I'm on it, if I have the time, if I do not feel overwhelmed and stressed out, I want to make a quick yearbook of our photos from Elf on the Shelf. I know it seems like a lot of work. It really, really, truly does. But if I can figure out how to do that, I think it would be really, really, really cute. And then the last picture is going to be a picture of Ty and the elf sleeping together, and then leave a letter from the elf saying goodbye to him. That's kind of what I came up with this year for Elf on the Shelf. Other ones that I've done last year for the return, we did a hot air balloon. So that was really fun. My son really loved that one. We've done climbing the rock walls. What other ones have we done? Oh my gosh, I can't even remember. I think he was suspended last year on a swing, maybe on one of the doorways. My husband did the one day where we had some sugar cookies. So he took out some sugar cookies and started decorating the sugar cookies. So that was kind of cute. Sort of some fun ones like that. I'm just trying to think of some of them. Anyways, they're pretty basic ones I'll say right now because my son is 4 and he's going to think that most of these ones are good anyways. And I just don't want to overdo them because I always feel like if I overdo, then I have to overdo the next year. You know what I mean? So there's a couple of fun ones in there and then a couple of simple, easy ones. The sick one is always a good one to, if you don't know what to do, just make your elf sick. That's what some people do. I know our friends once, they put their elf in some underwear and just had underwear hanging around the house and the elf sitting in there. So there's all little things like that basically that you can do. Pinterest has a lot of ideas. I think it is Scout the Elf. There's an app that comes up with some ideas. You can obviously go to the store and buy all the props. I know we have a prop for a spa day. We have the donut shop prop. And it came with another prop. There's 3 props within that one. On the last day, my elf is going to have a little suitcase, but the elf will be gone. I was thinking the elf would have the suitcase and go, but maybe we'll have that on the 23rd. And the elf can start packing up some of their stuff or whatever, to say hey, I have to go back to Santa. So you can do things like that. I know people have done where the kids have been bad, so the elf didn't come back that day. I don't know the full story of the elf. I didn't really read the story of the elf. We just bought the Elf on the Shelf package, and then I just know that people do fun things with the elf, so that's kind of what I'm doing. Again, simple, easy for us, mainly because I have a 3.5, 4-year-old. While we're on the topic of Christmas, let's just talk about the stress load of Christmas in general. I, every year, am so stressed with Christmas because I go so all out, over the top, trying to do everything, trying to make it so magical. I did store-bought advent calendars, and then I literally would do an advent calendar of, we have all these events that we should do every day. We should be making a snowman pizza, and we should be doing, a hot chocolate run and writing letters to Santa and all this. So this year I did 2 bucket lists. I know you're like, what's the difference? They're not planned out. That's the difference. I don't have to do it on this day, okay? It's a free will and it's a bucket list, and you don't have to do the things on your bucket list. That is the difference. But I did a winter bucket list. We can talk about that later. But I did a Christmas bucket list, and we have a photo shoot with Santa. Well, my son was booked in for mini photos with Santa and Mrs. Claus. So, boom, done. One of them is having hot chocolate with Santa. If you didn't catch it before, I've said that we know Santa and Mrs. Claus. They're friends of ours. I am like so blessed to know Mrs. Claus. And they always go to our local greenhouse that we have in Regina, Saskatchewan. And this year, you have to book your time slot with them. You never had to do that before. You could just line up and the kids could go see Santa and Mrs. Claus, and you could take a photo of them. I went into the greenhouse the other day and I saw that you had to book a time. And I was like, yeah, okay. Now, I literally thought that it said that it was for free. However, when I went to go book it, it cost me like $16. I said to him the other day, I said, hey, Ty, he goes, yeah. I'm like, on your bucket list, you have that you like want to have hot chocolate with Santa. He's like, yeah. I said, I just paid $16 for you to go see Santa and Mrs. Claus at Dutch Growers. I'm like, why don't we stop off at Tim Hortons on our way and we can pick up hot chocolate for you and Santa and Mrs. Claus? And I said, we can bake a couple of cookies and we could take some cookies. And I said, you get 10 minutes. It's your 10-minute time slot. And I said, you can have your hot chocolate and cookie date with Santa and Mrs. Claus. And he is excited, like so excited about this. I told my husband my idea and he goes, that is brilliant. He goes, I love it. And it knocks off two things on his Christmas bucket list, because one is to have hot chocolate with Santa. And the other one is to go get his photos taken with Santa and Mrs. Claus at Dutch Growers. Our Christmas bucket list is really simple. There's not a lot of like big things. One is like he wants to see a reindeer. I don't know if that's going to happen. I really don't know. One is to go out to our local ranch camp that they have around our area, and they do a Bethlehem story. We did it last year. Maybe we'll go and do it again. One of them is to have a sleigh ride. What else do we have? Go adopt a senior. Make a blessing bag for a homeless person. What are some other ones? Go on a light tour. We've never really taken him out to go look at Christmas lights because his bedtime is so early. It just doesn't work. So this year, we're going to keep him up a little bit late. We're going to drive an hour from our house. They have a really nice enchanted area where they do up all the lights and you can walk through it. So let's do that one night. Let's take him around the city, maybe have a little hot chocolate and look at Christmas lights, listening to Christmas carols. Just simple, fun, easy activities that we can do through the Christmas season. So we kind of started November into like the end of December, and just enjoy. Just find that little bit of enjoyment. If they get done, great. If they don't, it's fine. It's not going to be like it was on the advent calendar and we had to do it because that was the advent calendar thing for the day. So I took a little bit of stress off. And then for Christmas shopping this year, don't know what I was thinking previous years. Okay, well, long story short. So what happened is my stepson always got a stocking. Didn't matter what. We always did Christmas Eve with him just so that it was easy and he didn't have to fight between the two parents. So we just said, Kate, you're usually busy with your mom and her family on Christmas Day. We'll just do Christmas Eve with you. If you want to come Christmas Day, if you want to hang out with us Christmas Day, you're more than welcome. But we're not going to push that happens. We're not going to divide you, split you. It was too much. We did it the first year and it was too much for him and for my husband. And we just thought, no, let's just do this. So we made our tradition Christmas Eve, which works out really well with him and his wife's family because they do everything Christmas Day and we're still doing everything Christmas Eve. So I've always made a stocking for my stepson. Simple things, toiletries that he'll need for the year, socks, underwear, that kind of stuff. Maybe something little in there. Sometimes he'll get like a gas card or some money or something like that. Like just simple things, right? Okay, gotta remember. We've started this like since he was a teenager, so he already knew, okay? So then when his wife comes in the picture, same thing, we do stockings for her. So everyone gets stockings. That's how like the kids would get the stockings. Well, when I had my son, I'm like, this doesn't work because Santa does stockings. I can't do a stocking and then expect my kid to think that Santa's doing stockings. Social media is such a huge help when it comes to these ideas because I don't think I would have thought of this myself. But we do Christmas Eve boxes. And what we do is I just fill it up again with the essentials: socks, underwear, a shirt or a jacket. I think that's all my stepson's getting this year. And then his wife always asks for lip chap, lotion, gum, and then I get like a little gift, right? But normally these boxes, I would literally spend like $200 or $300 on these boxes. Why? That's on top of their actual gifts. We used to spend like $1,000 on them for Christmas gifts. And I was like, this is crazy. So I cut that back last year. I was like, okay, they're married now. They get a combined gift and it'll just be some cash, whatever. That's all we're giving them. So now they're expecting their first in February. And I looked at my husband. I said, okay. I said, he's no longer a kid anymore. I said, he is married. He is going to be a father. I'm like, this is the last year I'm buying this kid underwear and socks. I get that he likes getting his socks and underwear every year from me. And I get it because who really wants to go out and buy that kind of stuff? I know you can put your money elsewhere. So I see his thought. He's very smart on it. That I will say that. So I think next year we'll just do baby Christmas Eve box and then my son's Christmas Eve box. And I still do a Christmas Eve box for my husband and I. But even this year, I'm like, what am I going to put into it? Like, what is there that I can put into it? Normally, I would do matching family pajamas, and they wouldn't be Christmas pajamas. They would be just normal ones that we could wear all year. But I'm not buying those pajamas this year. I opted for Christmas matching pajamas, and we're getting those from the elf. So I was like, I don't know what to put in there for starters. And then secondly, I don't know. Like I think we might just do one for my son this year where it's a board game that we can play that day, a movie that we can watch, maybe a little thing of popcorn. This lady in Regina is selling basically like a Build-A-Bear kit. We don't have Build-A-Bear in Saskatchewan anymore, so I'm going to put that in there. I don't know if the elf is going to bring the Santa key or if I should just have the Santa key in the box. I think the elf should bring it. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how that goes. Anyways, and then we'll have the book the night before Christmas in his box. Would I like to put a blanket in there? Yes. Does he need another blanket? No. So I'm not going to put one in there. See what I'm saying? Like before, we'd be like, okay, every year, this is what I have in there. This year, I'm being more intentional with what I am gifting my son. And I'm not just buying stuff to buy stuff. And then if his quilt is done, because I did ask our friend's mom to make a quilt for him. If it's done, I'm debating if I'll put it in the Christmas Eve box or if I will have Santa put it on him or if it'll be gifted to him. I haven't really decided what we're doing with that one yet. But anyways, so that's what I have so far for Christmas Eve boxes. And for my husband and I'm like, I got nothing. I might give myself some nice warm woolly socks for bedtime. That's about all I have. Because it's for Christmas Eve, right? It's to make Christmas Eve fun and enjoyable. But we always hang out with my stepson and his wife. And then we'll have my husband's parents that we'll go see. And I don't know if his sister and brother-in-law are coming down or not. Everything's up in the air. And I don't even know if my brother and sister-in-law are coming down. Like, I don't know what's going on. Guys, it's like December. We should know what is going on. I'm telling you. People need to start planning in October. It'll just make everybody's life simpler if we just knew all of the details in October. That's how my mind works. But anyways, so help me, if you want, with some ideas for Christmas Eve boxes for my husband and I. Because I do like them, although it's me that has to make them all the time. So it just adds so much stress. And then this year, too, what I did is I looked at my husband and I said, here is your money. Go buy your gifts. Why did I do that? Because one, he doesn't care about the gift that he gets. Two, he has a problem with keeping any gift a secret. Three, I'm not going to pick out the jack that he wants to lift up his truck with. Why? Probably because I won't get the right one. He can go do that and get the right one. Four, he wants a creeper. Go pick the one that you want. That way I don't have to decide and you get the one that you want that you're going to use and not complain about, right? And then, what's that, 5, 6, whatever it is? He wants detailing products. Those will be from Santa. And those, he can pick out what he wants and then I'll just put it in his stocking. Which, oh, you want to talk about this? So I always did a sack because of the amount of stuff. So I do toiletries for my husband in his sack, right? The stockings were getting too small. I couldn't do it all. When you're doing razors and you're doing shaving cream and you're doing shampoo and the flossers, like all that kind of stuff, toothbrushes, like all that kind of stuff that you need all through the year, he loves getting it in his stocking. Again, his son loves to get socks and underwear, and my husband loves to get the toiletries, which nobody really likes to actually pay for. Let's be honest. Nobody enjoys that, right? So it is nice to get it as a gift when you become an adult. I totally get it. I understand. It's great. So I've been doing sacks. My son and my husband have these ginormous sacks. And of course, because I'm the one that always gets the gifts, I just get this little sack. You would think, I'm just saying, you would think that the men of the house would realize, like, this doesn't seem right. We should maybe up mom's sack and put some stuff in there. I'm just saying. My husband does go to Sephora and usually gets me some of my toiletries that I would like for the year, and he will put it in my sack. That is wonderful. But I have a very small sack compared to the guys. I'm just saying. Doesn't matter. Not going to get into it. So now we're reading Christmas stories, right? My son is in love with Christmas this year. He's understanding Christmas this year. It's a big thing. We've been watching the movie Santa Claus 2 since like the beginning of November. We've been watching The Grinch. Like, he's understanding Christmas. So he goes to me and goes, Mom, I want a stocking. Yep, of course you want a stocking. Because every movie, book that you see has stockings. They don't use sacks. So I'm like, okay. I said, you can go and pick your stocking. Whatever stocking you want, you can go pick it and Mom will buy it for you. So today when we're putting up the tree, we're chit-chatting and we pull out my ornamental stockings. They're UGG. They are beautiful. They are very nice. I've never, ever, ever put anything in them except for maybe I think I shoved an elf in there one time. Right? Anyways, so he hangs up my stockings and we're talking. And I said, bud, I said, downstairs, I said, I have bought material to make stockings. I don't know, 3 years ago, I was going to make stockings, or like for your first Christmas, I was going to make stockings. And I said, I've never got around to it. I said, do you want to go buy your stocking and pick it? Or do you just want Mom to go get the material and you can pick which one of the material you want? And he's like, yeah. So I went downstairs, grabbed the material. He picks the material that he wants. It's different pattern than my husband's and I. And for some reason, I still think I have a third pattern of material because I think I was going to do everyone's stocking different. But anyways, doesn't matter. So today I sketched out a stocking and cut out his stocking and my husband's stocking. And tomorrow I'm probably going to sew up some stockings. Just add to the stress, right? Christmas stress. But whatever. So I keep saying to him, because I know what he has from Santa is not going to fit in the stocking. Like, some of it will, but not all of it is, right? So I was like, okay. I'm like, how about we do stockings for like the small stuff? And then if Santa has big stuff, he can put it in your sack. He's like, yeah, that sounds good. Yeah. And I was like, okay, good. My goodness, you guys, to make Christmas magical for these children, is it worth it? I am going to say yes, because as a child, I still remember the one time when I literally believed that Santa was on the roof of the house and had come down. I don't know. We didn't even have a chimney, but Santa was in my house. I didn't even think as a child of how did Santa get in my house without a chimney. There was no such thing as magic keys back then. There wasn't. No Santa key, nothing. Anyways, Santa was on my roof. Why would he be on my roof when there's no chimney? But, whatever. He was on my roof. I swear to gosh, I heard him. I believe I heard the pitter patter on the roof. I thought I heard the jingle bells, all of that. I do not know if it was my mom that used the jingle bell, okay? I don't know. I swear in my mind right now, as I'm thinking about this, there was a jingle bell. I remember the rattling of paper because I left a note for Santa. And Santa wrote back to me. I don't know. Was I 8? I was either 8 or 9 when I found out there was no Santa or Easter Bunny. I think it was the last year that I believed before I got told that there was no Santa and Easter Bunny. And I truly, truly believe that Santa was there. And it's still to this day very magical in my mind. I get it. My mom wrote the note. I understand that now. But back then, the magic of believing that it was Santa was the most amazing and wonderful thing. So yes, I do want to make that magical Christmas for my son because I personally believe that there's no harm in that. And I understand that social media has put out there how bad it is and we're lying to our children. But is it so bad to have them believe in something? And if you look at this, and now if we flip to the spiritual side of things, we believe in souls. We believe in spirituality. We believe in a God. We believe in creator, source, energy, all this stuff that we can't see. as adults, children, adults, we believe in that. So is it so bad that we're sitting here and telling our kids that there's a tooth fairy, there's an Easter bunny, there's a Santa? Is it so bad? I don't know. Because truthfully, I can believe that there is past lives and multiple lives, and the Akashic records show that. Like, I understand that, right? But I can believe in a higher source without seeing it. Why can't our children believe in Santa? Just a thought that I had. And on that note, I'm going to sign off and say, I hope that you have a wonderful, wonderful day. I don't know how many more topics of Christmas we're going to be doing. Obviously, it's December. I know the beginning part of the podcast, we'll probably always do like a catch up. I do want to do a podcast this month on Yule. I am really digging into the Yule part of it. So we were just in BC with my parents and in the mountains, and we may have been touring up some back roads, my husband and my son and I, mountain logging road, because that is what we typically do when we go to the mountains. And I found a log because I kept saying, I said, I want to do a Yule log. I want to do a Yule log. So we may have found a log. I don't know what happened. I don't know if someone hit it. Anyways, it was like broken. It was a tree that had fallen down, and like part of this tree was perfectly broke off. And so it's a nice birch tree. It's not very thick, but it's not very thin. It's like the perfect size. And I'm going to do a Yule log with that, as I just want to do that so bad. So I don't know where I'm going to get the greenery from. I have greenery pots. I just don't want to pull from my greenery pots. So I don't know if I want to go to Dutch and buy a little bit of greenery for that, but I might end up doing that. And then I have oranges that I want to dehydrate anyways. So I'm going to put some oranges and maybe some apples on there and some cinnamon and cloves and like do all that and do a Yule log. But I want to do like the 12 days of Yule. And I didn't even know that there was 12 days of Yule. So I want to do an actual podcast about Yule. I'm really excited about that. Like I said, it's something I'm into this year for some reason. I kind of was like starting to get into it last year. I wanted to do a Yule log. We didn't do any of it. And I don't really know what Yule is, but I'm just really called to be doing it this year. So I just want to find out all my information, and I'll do a podcast for you on it, and I'll let you know kind of what I'm going to be doing and how I'm going to go through the 12 days of Yule. So stay tuned for that. I don't know if that's going to be next week or the week after, on the 24th, kind of like leading up to like Christmas and what's all going to happen. That's probably going to be a short one. And then maybe we'll do a podcast quickly on the 31st about resolutions and the new year and what we can see maybe for the collective of 2026, that type of thing. That would be a fun one to do. And I'm debating in the new year if I want to go to podcasts every 2 weeks versus every week. I love podcasting, but the time that it's taking, I don't know. I'm kind of not getting done other things that I should be getting done. And I'm just feeling very overwhelmed with everything. So we'll see how that all goes. I would like to stay weekly, but we might switch it up to doing twice a month. So we'll have to decide on that come the new year. But until then, we'll keep doing weekly. Anyways, I hope that you have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day. And I hope that if you have a little child, that this season will be absolutely magical for you. And even if you don't have a little child, I hope that the Christmas season is magical for you and you get all of the warm, fuzzy, magical feelings that come with Christmas. I'm just putting this out there. One last little note. I'm in Saskatchewan, Canada right now, by Regina. There is no snow. I went to the mountains last week and had rain and no snow until I went to Banff, Canada. That was the only place that had snow, and it was magical and it was Christmassy. Okay? You cannot have Christmas if you live in Canada without snow. I am asking the universe, the snow gods, whoever it is, can we please have snow? Please. Like up north, Saskatchewan has snow. A has snow. Why can't we, Regina, southern Saskatchewan, have snow? Why? I'm going to put a few limitations on it, okay? I don't want snow when I'm driving. I want nice roads, okay? I like the clear roads. I do better with the clear roads. I'm less stressed out when the roads are not icy and full of snow. However, I'm ready for snow. We had hoarfrost today. It was beautiful, very, very beautiful, although I didn't see it until like 4 o'clock today because the fog just didn't lift until then. My son went out on his snowmobile today. He has a wheel kit on his snowmobile so he can ride it in the summertime. We don't even have his skis on because there's no snow. I'm looking at memory photos from the last couple years with him. There's snow. It literally the 26th of November when I'm recording this podcast. There's no snow. My husband keeps telling me, oh yeah, when we're gone on our holidays, there's going to be a big dump of snow. No snow. It's been brown. And he tells me this week, Tuesday, Wednesday, big dump of snow, big dump of snow. No snow. Calgary has snow. I just saw the penguins going outside at the zoo playing in the snow. We have no snow. I'm not handling this. The other day, I'm driving my little boy to play school. My husband texts and he goes, it's snowing in Regina. There's not a snowflake here. Not one snowflake. I don't know, guys. I'm a person that loves winter. I love the snow. It's so beautiful. If you look at it when it snows, the world becomes nice. I mean, there's no leaves on the trees. They are blah. They are boring. The ground looks dead. Well, it is. It's dead. Okay. The grass isn't even green anymore. It was like green literally up till like a couple of weeks ago. I'm not lying. It's crazy. Okay. Even in BC, it was literally still green there. Can we please get the snow? The nice blanket white snow that makes it look so beautiful, so nice. Just want some snow. I also have a snowmobile that is waiting to get miles put on it because for the last 3 years, almost 4 years, I haven't been able to ride it. I just want to get on my snowmobile. Sorry if you heard that. Got a little excited there. Kind of rocked my desk. Anyways, I'm going to leave you with that. I'm praying to the snow gods. I'm praying to the snow gods. If you liked what you heard today, which was a whole bunch of random stuff, pretty much about life in general. Part of my podcast is, yes, I want to teach you guys, but I also just want to have these random conversations as well. If you like what you heard today, please share with your friends, your family, anyone you can think of. Please like, please rate, please review. That really helps me get my podcast out there, gets other people to know about my podcast. So if you could do all that, that would be wonderful. If you want to follow me, you can follow me on Instagram at Elevated Soul Healing or Elevated.pod. You can follow me at Facebook at Elevated Soul Healing or Elevated as well. And if you want to get a hold of me, you can email me at elevatedsoulhealing@gmail.com. I look forward to hearing from you, and I hope that you have a wonderful first week of December.